wanted to share our thoughts and also the reason for putting the secure edge data center into the market, especially aligned with Azure and Azure Stack Hub. I mean, we all know that the industrial premises are not exactly data center grade, but still require a lot of, on-premise workloads for latency, bandwidth, regulatory, compliance, and security aspects. And that those environments have not been designed to actually accommodate standard hybrid IT. So we put our heads together with our partner, ABB and Rital, to design a solution that would be based out of standard off-the-shelf components that would provide an enclosure that at the same time has physical protection, cooling, backup power, fire detection, suppression, really compact physical dimensions, and good local but also remote monitoring and alarming capabilities. On the other hand, knowing how the IT requirements, and if you think about how the cloud is thought to grow, if you want to create the same experience on-prem, you need to make it scalable, both scalable up in a sense that you need to be able to plan for different types of power consumption, but also scaling out, allowing for different of these environments to run besides each other. So we designed actually the SADC in a way that there was always a guaranteed less than 2 meters cabling distance between units, so that you can actually grow an Azure Stack Hub instance, literally enclosure by enclosure. In addition to that, we worked on creating a certain economies of scale here. So on one hand, the use of off-the-shelf components that allows for standard IT to run on-prem, which is something that Azure Stack benefits from, is supported by actually a reduced footprint. So it's a data center with a footprint manager bigger than a rack. And on top of that, on the operation side, we provide remote monitoring and management capabilities, including, and that is super important, temperature, humidity, fire, access, video analytics if needed, so that our customers are able to operate hybrid IT on harsh environments and industrial places with less stuff. This obviously applies even stronger to environments like Azure Stack Hub that can only work remotely management. On top of that, we have done some energy analysis, and we have seen that the Azure Stack, that the SCDC provides a 20% less energy consumption than the classical brick and mortar data rooms, which on top of everything is actually it has an impact not only on cost but also on the carbon footprint. I believe this is something relevant in our world right now. From a security perspective, we designed it in a way to be, protected from the environment with an IP55 rating, so streaming water and dust, but also at the same time having good control on intrusion, access control, LDAP integration. And by its design, it's actually also capable for NATO and Tempest certifications, which obviously depend on the hardware side, but it just gives you a feeling of what kind of ruggedness we are looking at. Additionally, we provide operational security by having optional redundant cooling and power that allows for not only graceful shutdown, but also take according actions in order to protect the workloads that are in there without having to open unnecessarily the door. And that is a very unique feature. So in a nutshell, what it allows is to put any Azure Stack Hub enabled workload anywhere in a harsh industrial environment. You can ship it preloaded with hardware as it's a shock-proof rack. So basically it can arrive on a premise, industrial premise, and in 2 weeks, the whole environment is up and running and in production, both as a CapEx, but more interesting as an OpEx option in current times. So, the benefit at the edge is that it allows any Azure Stack workload, massive amounts of data, autonomous car are use cases, but also aerospace and defense. And on top of that, it allows scalability. It provides all this compute, storage, and networking power close to where the data is generated and where the applications are. So latency and bandwidth are not an issue. And on top of that, you have enterprise grade, both physical and cybersecurity, and you can consume it as a service. Technically, it allows you also to deploy all these workloads much quicker than the classical data room or brick and mortar model. And obviously, it provides higher sustainability, a PoE of 1.15 to 1.2, but at the end, it's a piece of the cloud on-prem. And I think that would basically summarize the capabilities and the value proposition in a single phrase.